this issue about whether they should have done more than they did. It seems like, based upon all the readings that everyone's had so far of this very lengthy document, that there are red flags that were missed, and that they clearly should have known that these tactics were being used. No, is this enough at this point in time to say that these 14 people inside who are going to be internally disciplined, this is nothing. This is not culpable. This is not holding anyone accountable. This is the old bureaucratic slow roll, the Potomac two-step, you name it. This is exactly what we expected.
It is, and those 14 individuals, quite frankly, should all resign. I have to say, I think this actually is a damning indictment of Eric Holder. Why? Because what the report shows is that senior leadership within the Justice Department were not doing their job. There's one page where it says that 5 deputy assistant attorney generals did not bother to read any of the supporting documentation that came with these wiretaps. That's their job. And the fact that they weren't doing their job, and when they found out about what was actually going on, senior people did not brief the attorney general. He's the people he chose these people in these jobs. He supervises them. And those failures reflect on his lack of judgment.
Are there any surprises here, guys? Any at all? I mean, I think this is exactly what, based upon our discussions of Fast and Furious up to this point, we would have expected to come out of an internal investigation.
Well, that's what happens with self-discipline, right? And self-punishment. And when you're charging the very people that you're accusing of their wrongdoing to investigate their wrongdoing, this is necessarily the result.
I feel totally confused, and maybe Hans, you can clarify this for me, because I have right here a press release from the Director of Communications from Oversight that says that this report, quote, confirms the House's rationale for holding Eric Holder in contempt. So does the report damn Eric Holder, as the House Oversight Committee is saying, or does it exonerate him, as he and the DOJ are saying? Which is it?
Well, the House committee is correct about one thing. If you go into the middle of the report, it says that in May, when the Attorney General and the Justice Department sent another letter to the House saying, no, we didn't allow guns to walk, and when they sent one of their assistant attorney generals over in June to testify, and he said that again, at that time, they already knew that that was not true.
So, and this IG report confirms that. That's what you're saying?
Yes, this IG report, in it, it says they should not have taken that position, that is the Justice Department, in that May letter or in that June testimony, because they knew that was not correct.
Anthony, it seems to me that what we see here is them admitting, we didn't really do our jobs, but that doesn't appear criminal, so we're okay with that, and let's just move on.
This is one of those scenarios where the Attorney General says, no, don't tell me that, or I don't want to know that, or this is a scenario where he hears it and he's like, well, I'm not signing any piece of paper. I'm going to have these 5 guys that are going to sort of take this hit. There's no way that Eric Holder doesn't know about this program going on before Chuck Grassley calls. And if that does really turn out to be the case, that is such gross incompetence by the Attorney General that that he should be either forced to resign or Obama should want to replace him. And one of those two has to be the case.
Sure. According to the Oversight Committee's look at this, they're saying, listen, we have to remember that the focus of this contempt vote, which was historic, by the way, finding the Attorney General in contempt, was actually not about what did he know, what did he not know. It was the fact that he withheld documents to the Oversight Committee that they had requested in regards to this.
That's what the contempt vote's about. You're talking about. That's right, because what we found out...
And they say that this report confirms that he was not acting properly.
Because what this report, at least according to Eric Holder, confirms is that this was a field-driven tactic. Letting guns run. Low level.
About it up top.
And the burden and the blame falls on people beneath Eric Holder, right? These 14 individuals you're talking about. And it stops somewhere in that morass of bureaucracy before it gets to Eric Holder. And this IG report suggests he did not know about this program. However, did he know about it, what you talk about, Anthony, when Chuck Grassley called? At the point it comes up and asks, did you know about it? Had he known about it?
But it's also saying he didn't technically know it by the way in which knowing is defined in federal documents.
He didn't authorize. The word is.
This is essentially crazy scenario. The emails came across his screen, but he never replied and said, that's a great idea, give guns to the cartels. Hans, I want to ask you this. The status of the lawsuit right now, ongoing, Congressman Issa, Amy mentioned the contempt vote. That didn't really do much more, I think, than cause a political uproar. It hasn't forced the turnover of the documents, certainly yet. Do you think there could be more revelations coming? Do you think that actually the ISA lawsuit has a chance of succeeding? We could see the internal documents that apparently the IG says he had access to and went over in this process. Could those come to light for Congress?
Yes, because if you look at prior court actions where lawsuits have been filed when a president has claimed executive privilege, presidents usually lose those lawsuits. And at the very least, a court is going to force the White House and the Justice Department to come up with what they call a privilege log, a list of all of the documents, what they are, who they were from, why they're claiming their privilege, which is something that the department has not produced at all as of yet.